One of the last things you want to do when your car isn't working properly is to take it to a mechanic and be told that a new valve body is required. Sadly, a lot of people have no idea what a valve body is, much less what signs indicate that it is about to fail. In this video, we'll go over 6 typical signs of a damaged valve body, along with the cost of replacement. If you watch out for these warning indicators, replacement might be preventable. It's the Car Problems YouTube channel. Subscribe and let's get started. Wrong gear changes. On an automatic gearbox, your valve body will be the brains behind your gear change. In order to help your car use as little fuel as possible, they are made to react to your throttle pedal and shift gears at the most cost-effective RPM. Therefore, a malfunctioning valve body may be the cause if you observe that your car had recently chosen to shift up or down a gear when you were expecting the opposite. Additionally, a malfunctioning valve body may be the cause of your gearbox skipping gears when shifting up or down. Not changing gears. Similar to the section on wrong gear change, if your car isn't shifting gears when it should, it may be a sign that your valve body is malfunctioning. If you have owned or driven the vehicle for a long time and have become familiar with its daily operation, this type of defect is typically the most obvious. You are aware of when your car should shift gears when you accelerate and how quickly it should shift gears when you decelerate. Again, this would indicate that your valve body is delaying the gear change, and further diagnosis would be necessary to determine the cause if you start to notice that your car has a delay between changing gears by increasing RPM when both accelerating and decelerating before changing gears. Harsh noises when changing gears. This is a fairly obvious fault. Similar to how harsh noises made during gear changes while operating a manual gearbox would indicate a malfunctioning gearbox, this is frequently the case with automatic gearboxes. This typically occurs when the valve body engages a new gear without waiting to disengage the previous one. It is comparable to inserting a screwdriver into a rotating fan's propellers. The harsh grinding noise is caused by this. Given this, you should have it inspected and fixed as soon as possible because failing to do so could cause your valve body to destroy the gears in your gearbox. Slipping transmission. When operating a manual box, most of you have experienced the sensation of your clutch slipping. However, it's possible that you have never encountered this when operating an automatic gearbox. The sensation is pretty similar. Your RPM rises, but your speed doesn't as you depress the throttle pedal to accelerate. In 90% of cases, this would mean that a manual box's worn-out friction plate needs to be replaced. It's not quite that easy on an automatic box, though. It may be that a valve within the valve body assembly has begun to stick or isn't extending all the way as it should. As you take up the drive, this might keep the gears from engaging completely, causing them to slip. Sharp gear changes. You may also observe that your car is gradually becoming much harsher when shifting up and down gears, in addition to not shifting when it should. In order to enhance drive quality and driver comfort, almost all contemporary automatic gearboxes are built to be smooth when shifting gears. The driver will typically notice a much sharper gear change if your valve body is malfunctioning. Your car may snatch at new gears, causing the car to jerk forwards as it does so, rather than smoothly disengaging from one gear and gently engaging the new one. This type of issue will typically worsen and result in additional damage to other gearbox parts and mounts, so if it's happening to you, try to have your car checked out and fixed as soon as possible. Transmission fluid leak. Naturally, only a hydraulic valve body system will exhibit a fluid leak. In order to engage or disengage specific valves, fluid is pushed and pulled around different galleries in these hydraulic systems. Because the oil will keep the galleries lubricated and stop excessive heat buildup, this system is fantastic and effective. Generally speaking, an issue arises only when your gearbox experiences an oil leak and there is insufficient oil left to operate your valves properly. One of the best ways to detect an oil leak early on is to regularly check underneath your car, assuming there isn't an undertray, for leaks. If you notice a leak, fix it right away, because fixing an oil leak in the valve body is far less expensive than replacing the entire valve body because it has run dry. Replacement cost. Depending on the car model and labor costs, replacing a valve body typically costs $400 to $1,500. The part for a valve body costs $200 to $1,000 and labor between $200 and $500. Like the majority of automatic gearbox parts, replacing these units is not inexpensive because it frequently requires a specialist. If the problem permits, it might be more practical for you to have your existing valve block fixed. In any case, the best way to save money is to get the car checked out right away and stop driving it as soon as you suspect a problem. This will stop additional damage to other parts of the car. Well, there it is. It would be inaccurate to claim that automatic transmission problems never occur, even though they are rather rare these days. Finding assistance when an automatic gearbox malfunctions can be challenging because of the comparatively small number of these issues. Therefore, if you ever find yourself in this predicament, hopefully, this guide will be of great assistance to you. If you suspect a problem with your transmission, we always advise having your car properly diagnosed, because if you wait for it to develop, you could endanger other engine and gearbox components in addition to putting yourself in danger as the driver. Hope the information was helpful for you. If so, please press the like button and subscribe to the channel.